Shabbat Shalom. This past week, I was in the town too tough to die. No, I'm not talking about Tombstone, Arizona. I'm talking about New Orleans, Louisiana, the town that even Hurricane Katrina and the BP oil spill could not whip. In New Orleans last week, 3,000 Jews gathered for the annual General Assembly of the Jewish Federations of North America, better known fondly as the GA. And at the GA, one of the major topics was the next generation. Now, you've probably gotten a little bit tired of me talking about the next generation, how they are so much into individuality and all about themselves and not about the institutions and organizations and not about community or all their various membership phobias. But I have to tell you, something happened before and during that kind of changed my mind a little bit. The same week of the GA, Bill Carr, president of the Federation, and myself went to KU Hillel in Lawrence. And at Hillel, we met the students, a delegation of about 12, that were going to be going to the GA. This was the largest we'd ever had from KU Hillel. We helped to subsidize their trip, and it was also subsidized by National Hillel. There were about 600 students all told at the GA. It was the largest gathering ever of college students at the GA, and it was amazing. I have to tell you, in our dinner, our light supper with the students who came from Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Louis, Austin, Texas, and Kansas City, we heard about their amazing involvement with Jewish life at the KU campus, and we also heard about what they had done in Israel and were going to be doing in Israel on various trips, and then what they plan to do at the GA and hopefully after their college experience. And I was pleased to hear that some of them were even thinking about going into Jewish communal service after their college experience, which was a wonderful thing for me to hear and held out a lot of hope for the future. At the GA, some interesting things happened. And I have to tell you, I sat at one point at one of the major plenary sessions in front of the Hillel section, and it was very loud and noisy and enthusiastic, which was wonderful. But in the sessions themselves, and one particular I attended about the next generation, after a panel of people spoke, one of the students, I believe from the University of Texas, got up and said, "You know, this was an interesting discussion," he said, "but here you were talking about us, the next generation, and you didn't even include any of us on the panel." And that said it all. They weren't afraid to speak up about their future and what they wanted their future to be. And I think this holds out a lot of hope for us in the future. The other piece which is interesting and points up to the differences that we're going to be dealing with in the future is that an article shortly after the GA wrote about the fact that there was another GA going on while we were sitting there, and that was that there was all this tweeting. And for those of you who, like me, are a little old-fashioned, though I have a PDA and I email all the time on it, and I even am doing texting now, I still haven't really gotten that much into tweeting. But tweeting is kind of instant communication, and there were messages flying back and forth all through the GA, talking about the various sessions and what was going on. It was a whole nother conference going on at the GA, using the latest of the technologies and the methods that young people use for communication. But perhaps for me, one of the interesting comments that was made in one of the tweets, and I'd like to read it to you because it said it all, that even while things are changing, and these young people are going to create a whole new world for us in the Jewish community. One of them tweeted, this was after hearing one of the plenary sessions about our two major overseas partners, the Jewish Agency for Israel and the Joint Distribution Committee, where we heard the heads of those organizations and also some of the beneficiaries of those organizations speak very dramatically about how they make a difference. One of the young people said, of these two major partners, "I want to graduate now and work for one of these amazing organizations. Now, I'm so proud that this is my future." And to me, that kind of said it all. You know, there's an expression, everything old is new again. And that's really what this was saying to me. That despite all our doubts and our trepidations about the future and all our concerns about young people and their involvement or lack of involvement, everything old will be new again. So it was a wonderful way for me to spend the week and to hear these wonderful things coming out of our young people. I hope you will be inspired by that message as well. Shabbat Shalom.